All right, Shalom Israel.
Shalom.
All right, we're here for another class. The title of the class is Marriage, Make It Last. All right, so put that on your paper. Marriage, make it last. That's the idea. The idea is to make it last. All right, so Shalom Israel, and we want to give a shout out to all our brothers and sisters out there in isbhpk and the other churches in Virginia, Houston, New York, Florida, Albuquerque, California, all the brothers, Kawakab, putting in work, man.
Great work.
Great work, great edification, great teaching, great clarity of the scriptures. So we want to most definitely salute all the brothers and sisters out there, because without, you need both. You need brothers and sisters to make a body, to make a church. And that's ultimately the objective of this class, is to show the importance of that unity and that unison. So we want to first welcome anybody that's viewing us online for the first time. Shalom, we got classes on the YouTube. We also screen on Zoom. Zoom, what else? No other platform, no other digital platforms as of yet. As of yet, yeah, but we will be coming soon to other platforms. But for now, you can catch us on YouTube and Zoom. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully this is not a two-part thing, but need be, it will be. But the first scripture that we're going to go to is Genesis chapter 2. And let's get started verse 18.
2:18.
Yeah, Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. Let's go ahead and get started on that. Yeah.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Genesis chapter 2, verse 18 reads, "And the Lord Power said, It is not good that the man should be alone."
So, who said this?
The Most High.
Who said this? The Most High, right?
Yeah.
It says that the Lord Power said that it's not good for what?
That the man should be alone.
So who ordained marriage?
The Most High.
The Most High ordained marriage. He ordained marriage and what a marriage is supposed to be, and what a marriage is supposed to look like, the terms, the conditions of a marriage, and the benefits and the uses of a marriage. How it's supposed to work in practice, what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to, what it's supposed to yield.
And why are we saying this? Because we're in the generation, we're in the time period right now where people are pushing the idea of open marriage. Right? Well, and be it through the celebrities, right? You got Will Smith and his rib. They're pushing the open marriage on both sides. Mm-hmm. It's cool. And other people are entanglements, right? Mm-hmm. So they're pushing a new culture. So it's good to I like the fact you're clarifying what biblical marriage is.
Right. It's so bad that people even marrying their animals. You know what I'm saying? Marrying their pets.
True.
They're trying to classify and reclassify what is a marriage. So first of all, we understand that the Most High, He's explaining. He says that He saw that it was not good that man should be alone. Read on.
"I will make him and help meet."
Go ahead.
"For him.
Go ahead.
And out of the ground the Lord Power formed every beast of the field."
Go ahead.
"And every fowl of the air."
Read on.
"And brought them unto Adam."
Go ahead.
"To see what he would call them."
So while the Most High occupied Adam with a duty, with the responsibility of naming all the animals, the platypus, the hippopotamus, the bears, the elks, the aardvarks, Adam got busy naming the animals. Read on.
"And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof."
Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 20 reads.
Jump down to verse 23. Let's get to the
verse 23 reads. "And Adam said,"
21, I'm sorry.
21. "And the Lord Power caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam."
So what is this deep sleep? He had him working, right? So he caused this deep sleep to fall upon Adam. What does this deep sleep signify? When you're asleep, you're also known as being what?
Unconscious.
Unconscious. Yeah, you're unconscious. So what he's showing here is that the Most High was building up a woman for Adam without his participation and without his knowledge and without his influence. Because a lot of times we try to pick and choose, what we want, and it doesn't. Our guesses aren't always correct. Our matchmaking process usually isn't that successful. You know, when we tend to try to make a marriage or make a relationship, we pick for the wrong reason, and we pick for physical reasons or financial reasons. You know, we have our own selective process of weeding out a partner or trying to identify what a partner looks like or what a partner is. But the Most High put Adam to sleep, showing you already the Most High didn't need Adam's opinion upon what he should have as a woman. He didn't need his input. He didn't need his opinion, his thought process, his likes or dislikes. He said he already cooked up something for Adam. He was cooking something up for Adam. Read on.
And he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
Go ahead.
And the rib which the Lord power had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man.
Go ahead.
And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone.
And he said, this is now what?
Bone of my bone.
So he said, this is now a part of me. This is now bone of my bone. Read on.
And flesh of my of my flesh.
Read on.
She shall be called woman.
She shall be called what?
Woman.
So he says she shall be called what?
Woman.
So the Most High gave Adam.
Right there, bro.
Yeah, that's cool right there. Yeah.
You got a book, you got a scripture?
Everybody got a pen and paper for him?
You know?
No. Go ahead. We're in Genesis. Tell them what
Genesis chapter 2, verse 23 reads.
So we're at Genesis. We're in Genesis chapter 2, and we're in verse
Oh, you got it. No problem.
23, right?
Go.
Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 23 reads.
Uh-huh.
And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh.
Come.
She shall be called woman.
She shall be called woman. Why? Read on.
Because she was taken out of man.
Now he's about to explain the union was initiated by who? Who said that it was not good that man should be alone?
The Most High.
The Most High. The union was initiated by the Most High. And as far as the workings of it, the Most High brought Adam a woman. And he brought him a woman. Read on.
Verse 24.
And he says he called this woman flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone, right? So he's showing that there's a union. There's a unity. This is a unified partnership. Now, just for clarity's sake, because man tries to call what he wants to call a marriage. He wants to give a term and condition to a marriage. First of all, go to Genesis chapter 5, verse 1 and 2 real quick.
5, 1 and 2?
Right. So, because we need to go to the origin of marriage and relationships to identify what the Most High constitutes it as, not based off what the world says a marriage is. Genesis chapter 5, verse 1 and 2. Read that.
Genesis chapter 5, verse 1 reads, this is the book of the generations of Adam.
So, he said this is the book of the generations of who?
Adam.
So, Adam had a whole generation of people, had a lineage of people. Adamites. Read on.
In the day that the Most High created man, in the likeness of the Most High made he him.
Read on.
Male and female.
So, a marriage is based upon who?
Male and female.
What is a marriage constituted in the eyes of the Most High?
Male and female.
Two men?
Male and female.
Two women?
Male and female.
Go ahead.
Male and female created he them.
Okay, go ahead.
And blessed them.
And bless them.
And called their name Adam.
Come.
In the day when they were created.
Because we want to try to get a blessing and create our own marriages. You know, man, you let man tell it, man will put two men together and try to be blessed and expect the Most High to bless that.
They'll just pick the roles. Just recently, Young Jeezy and his wife, J. May, they declared that they're going to raise their child gender fluid. What? Yeah, that's recent news that they're declaring this is how we're going to raise our child. So it's not what I'm saying, but he's bringing out.
Yeah, explain that.
All right, well, I'll explain it more clear.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect.
What the term gender fluid means, it means a person can flow between the roles of a masculine frame, a male role, and then by whim, by feeling, by day, by emotion, by choice, I'm gonna flow from a male rhythm. Now I'm gonna be a female maybe 2-3 hours later. I'm gonna go ahead and put on a dress and talk softer and change my tones and go by a completely different name. So that's what gender fluidity is. But the point we're getting to is now that's I got you. I'm trying to finish my thought. So now that it's in the role or the theater of blacks and browns, quote unquote, so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Haitians, Dominicans, Central Americans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, North American Indians, Seminole Indians, Brazilians, Argentinians, so-called Mexicans. These are the original 12 tribes of Israel. Now, because of our heroes, quote unquote, our musicians, now they're bringing children in the world, and they're pushing that we want to raise our children. You know, this is how we want to raise our children, gender fluid. We want to give this child liberty and freedom and educate them that this is an okay lifestyle. And mommy and daddy are male and female, but you, from your inception, from being a newborn, you have the right to be this way. You can be this way. So what that does, that really blurs the line when it comes to marriage. That child will grow up 18 years later. And what's their concept of being a husband or a wife? If everybody's born with that gender fluid in the youth, in childhood, in toddler, in middle school, on cartoons, what effect will that have on the idea of marriage?
Right. It'll damage the definition of marriage and what the Most High constituted marriage for, which is what we're going to go into. We're going to explain what the Most High wanted from this marriage. What does the Most High want from a marriage? So, because I can float between gender neutrality, I can be a man or a woman, I can be who I want. That doesn't mean the Most High is going to honor that. Plus, we live in a society that tries to recreate what the definition of marriage is, but still has the third highest divorce rate in the world. We live in a society that's trying to tell you what a marriage is and classify a marriage, but it has the highest divorce rate in the world, the third highest in the world. There's only like 2 countries like Belarus and Maldives like that have higher.
What's the problem?
Nobody's going to Belarus no time soon. Nobody's going to the Maldives anytime soon. I don't know where that's at. Nobody even know where that's at, but everybody knows where the U.S. is.
Come.
And so the U.S. is trying to reclassify and tell you what a marriage is, but yet has the third highest divorce rate in the whole world. So what we need to do is get our people back to what the Most High calls a marriage and what the intention behind the marriage is and what it's for. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason why marriages aren't lasting, because they aren't using the principles of a marriage in its original design and what it was made for. And this is why they're breaking up. This is why they're not lasting. This is why the fundamental principles of a marriage are not taught. The roles of the husband, the roles of the wife are not taught. So you got a lot of people that are coming up short in the idea of a marriage, and they're creating their own idea of a marriage. And then they're finding out that when you create your own idea of a marriage and you try to create your own roles and duties, it don't last. Because even when you try to put 2 men in the same house, that don't even last. You put 2 women in a house, that don't even last. People don't know the art of relationships. They don't know the art of unity. The initial purpose, he said, the Most High said, well, it is not good that man should be alone. He said, so I will make a help that's right for him. So a wife is made as a help, an assistant, so to the duties of a man who's serving the Most High. She's the greatest assistant that the Most High has created for a man to perform the duties of the Father. She's the greatest assistant. She's the greatest handy woman or handy person available for a man to give him the best help to bring forth, whatever responsibilities that the Most High has in store. So, read verse 24.
God. Of Genesis chapter 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
God. Genesis chapter 2, verse 24 reads, therefore shall a man leave his father and mother, Salaki, and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife.
Go ahead.
And they shall be one flesh.
And they shall be what?
One flesh.
And there shall be one flesh. So this unity is started when the man meets his wife, They become one flesh. They're tied together. They're unified. The Most High no longer sees them as one. As two. He sees them as one. He acknowledges them as one. He looks at them as one. He blesses them as one, as a unity, right? So when the Most High sees that unity, how does the Most High feel about that? We all know this verse. We should. Ecclesiastes 25:1. Read that. How does the Most High feel when he sees the right type of unity?
Now, what we're pulling out for anybody that's new, this is called an apocrypha. All right, an apocrypha means hidden books. This is the Holy Bible 1611. This 1611 is the first year of the publication of the King James Bible. And when you read it, it doesn't have two sections, Old Testament and New Testament. It has three sections: Old Testament, Apocrypha, New Testament. The missing 400-year period that is in all Bibles, we open the Bible up and they say there's a missing period from Malachi, which is Old Testament, to Matthew. There's a missing 400-year period. It's not missing. It was taken out by the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. Or just to show you why we're going here, okay? This is a part of the Bible originally in the year 1611. It was taken out around
1885.
1885.
Mm-hmm. So it was part of the scriptures for 274 years. It was part of the Bible. So we're going here in Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 1.
Ecclesiastes 25 and verse 1. In three things I was beautified.
Now the Most High said it's three things that a man can do that can be looked at as beautiful in the eyes of the Most High. Read on.
And stood up beautiful, both before the Most High and man.
So what's attractive? What's pleasing to the eyes of the Most High and pleasing to men? Go ahead. No, go. What you got?
Beautified means what you like what ornaments do you put on? Like what like beautified is like how do you enhance yourself?
Right.
How
do you enhance yourself? How do you stand out? What makes you stand out, or what makes you special? You know what I'm saying? What makes you ornate or decorative? You know what I'm saying? Read on.
The unity of brethren.
So it's three things that a man can do that the Most High finds attractive, very attractive. He says what?
The unity of brethren.
When brothers can operate together. So when you see black on black crime, is the Most High pleased with that?
Wow.
When you see brown on brown crime, is the Most High pleased with that?
Wow.
No. He says when you see division, anarchy, chaos amongst brothers, amongst family members, when you see family feuds, they turn family feuds into a game show.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Family feuds were happening before the game show came out. There was already turmoil amongst families. There was already chaos amongst families. So it's
a show now.
It's a show. It's a TV show. It's entertainment. Family Feud is entertainment now. But this is not beautiful. He says what's beautiful is the unity of brethren. What's number two?
The love of neighbors.
When neighbors could get along. Now there was a time some people that are old enough can remember when you could leave your door unlocked, or you can borrow from your neighbor. You could borrow meat. You could borrow sugar. You could borrow ketchup. You could borrow bananas, fruit, money. You could even borrow your neighbor's car. You know that sometimes you could, if you didn't have food, you could send your kids to the neighbor's house, and your neighbors will feed the children. The Most High loves that community, that sense of community that works and functions together. He said the unity of neighbor, the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors. When neighbors look out for each other, I make sure if I see somebody in your yard creeping outside your house, looking around your house, I'm gonna call your phone. Hey man, I don't know if you know, but somebody's outside your house right now. Somebody's staring in your window. Hey, when you're expecting company, because you got somebody that I've never seen before. Oh, you know, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for looking out. The Most High loves this kind of community. These things are beautiful when brothers can function together, the community can operate together. What else?
A man and a wife that agree together.
So when the Most High put a woman, when he gave Adam Eve, he saw that as a beautiful thing. That was a wonderful thing. Especially if they can do what?
Agree.
Especially if they can agree. So what he's showing that one of the most beautiful things that can be done on earth is when you put a man and a woman together and they what?
Agree.
And they what?
Agree.
That means they're on one accord. So every time that a relationship, there's disharmony, There's chaos. There's confusion. There's contention. There's arguments. There's debates. When you see this, this is going against the pleasure of the Most High. This is not attractive in the eyes of the Father.
So it's not. It must. The Bible says if a man and woman is a beautiful thing, then it's an ugly thing for them not to.
Right. The family meltdown, when the family nucleus is melting down, all you have is arguing, fighting, a struggle for authority, a yelling match, a punching match, violence, domestic disputes. This is not attractive in the eyes of the Most High, because it's going against what He created the man and woman for. Yes, sir.
Philippians 2:1.
Go ahead.
Philippians 2 and verse 1. Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind.
Right, because that's what pleases the Most High. That's what the Most High takes joy in, when He sees two people that can work together, function together, operate together, plan together, execute the plans together. You know, when these two people can function as one, the Most High looks at that as the standard and the model of a marriage. That's the standard and the model of a relationship. When these people are on the same page. But we live in a society where the divorce rate is through the roof. They said the older you get, the worse it gets for you to be married.
Wow.
Yeah, the divorce rate changes based upon your age group.
That's crazy.
They say if you were married before 18, there's like a 67% chance of being divorced. And those numbers change as you turn 27 to 34. By the time you hit 35 to 50, and then they call it the gray marriages, which is the senior marriages, their divorce rate is even higher.
What?
You know, older people aren't even staying together.
That's crazy. That's news. That's news to me.
We might remember when Grandma and Grandpa, may not got along, but they stayed together. The chances of that happening are slim. This new age, new era form of relationships aren't lasting past 8 years.
Wow.
They're not lasting past 8 to 10 years. They're done. That's the average divorce time rate is 8 years. So you probably got 8 years to make it work.
To make it great.
Put your best effort in. Put the best 8 you got.
We got 5 more years, baby.
Yeah, you got 5. Time's ticking, man. Let's go ahead and talk now. Work it out now, because we got to beat the status quo.
So let me get this right. Make sure I understand this.
Yeah.
So you're saying the people that get married younger have a stronger opportunity of lasting if they get married younger.
No, they don't last. That's in today's time frame.
Okay.
They're not lasting. There's some numbers. Matter of fact, let me give you the numbers, man.
Where your sources at?
Huh?
Where the source coming from?
Let me get the numbers, man. Let me just get the numbers real quick. I didn't want to get the numbers, but
What's all the bubbles, right?
yeah, I think people want to hear what these
like,
stats are.
I know, like at the time, like that I got married, it was 4 of us that got married. All 3 of them wound up divorced and separated, and like out of the 4, only me and my wife stayed together. So I know we got statistics, but like
3 out of 4.
75%.
3 broke up. 3 broke up, and only 1% stayed together.
Let me get these numbers
Say,
real
bro.
quick. Let me see if I can. Pull this up real quick.
I think that's it.
All right, read this right here, W. Right here, where it says the average. U.S. average right here.
All right. Right here. The average. Right.
Sorry, number 8.
Number 8. The average length of a marriage in the U.S. is 8.2 years, while the national average marriage length is just over 8 years. Couples in New York typically have the longest lasting unions. The typical marriage in the Empire State lasts 12.2 years, which is significantly higher than the national average.
So New Yorkers got a better chance, man.
New York.
Gotta go to
New York. New York, you got 4 more years.
Why is it like that though?
Well, it don't say why it's like that. It just
I'm saying like according to the biblical.
you know why? Because I don't know why, but if I could take a guess, it would only be because you need 2 household incomes to pay to survive in New York.
Yeah, that's real.
So you gotta work it out for the sake of survival. You know what I'm saying? So even if you become domestic partners, read the definition. Somebody give me the definition of domestic partners. You know what I'm saying? And this is not a good thing.
No, it's not.
It's not a good thing. But when you're talking about rent that's $1,500 for a 300 square foot place, you better calm it down and cool yourself off
Domestic partner.
and think twice.
I got you. A person who shares
Yeah,
a residence.
You know what? You think twice before you say get out. Because you got to think about that other half of that rent.
So the majority of them is together just because they both got money and living comfortable. When
No.
it go bad, somebody got to go.
No, not the case. I'm just saying. I'm just taking a guess. You got it?
God. A person who shares a residence with a sexual partner,
Go ahead.
especially without a legally recognized union.
Go ahead.
That's all this.
Give me another.
I got it.
Give me another.
It says people in domestic partnerships receive benefits.
It said they receive what?
they receive benefits
Go ahead.
that guarantee right of survivorship.
They guarantee
Survivorship.
They guarantee right of what?
Survivorship.
What's the purpose of that union?
Survivorship.
They just trying to survive. We're gonna work it out just to make it. We don't love each other. we just know that we can't do it by ourselves. So we'll have the benefits. We'll share the sexual benefits, but we really don't care about each other. We just know that I'm in it because if I can't do this by myself, and neither can you.
It's a greater chance of survival.
Right. That's all it is. Survivorship.
That's great.
That's what marriage has come to now. That's not how the Most High set it up. That's not the way the Most High set it up. But that doesn't mean that person is loyal, because there's another definition that tells you that they're not even really married. They're not even committed to each other on a domestic level. I don't know who got the definition,
But
but
it says a domestic partnership is a legal relationship between two individuals
it can be looked at as legal in some states. Go ahead.
who live together and share a common domestic life, but are not married.
But a what?
But are not married.
That's a lot of people now have just resorted to, we're not gonna say we're married. We're not gonna claim that we're married. We're just friends with benefits. That now is what society has said is legal now. That's never been what the Most High called a marriage ever in the Bible. There's no such thing as a friends with benefits. There's no such thing as a domestic partnership. Either you're married or you're not.
That's true.
But this is in a world where different titles, and this is the Most High says not the author of confusion. Now you got, just because you put a new title on it doesn't mean the Most High honors it. What the Most High honors is the union. What he honors is the fact that these two people agree together. What he honors is the fact that they get along, that they have the same mindset, they have the same heart, same intention. The Most High honors this when they both have the same obligations one towards another, and when they're trying to put the right type of marriage on display. So let that go and go to Hebrews chapter 13 and read verse 4.
Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. Everybody ready?
Hold on.
He got it.
You got it. Go ahead.
Marriage is honorable.
What does the Most High say?
Marriage is honorable.
So is a domestic partnership honorable?
Wow.
Is friends with benefits honorable?
Wow.
We just spend time together.
It's just ordinary.
I don't even know what people call it now. Chilling? We just chilling? Is that what they call it now? We just chilling? We just friends?
Surviving, that's it. It's
We just- yes, sir.
And my, I think it was like 2009. It was about probably like 30 to 50 trainees that came into the military, right?
Mhm.
Say about 95% of those marriages were only just to get out of the dorms, so they can get extra BAH,
Right.
so they can get into their apartment.
You know
That's all
what?
it was.
You listen, there's a lot of marriages that are financially based or
Yeah.
conveniently based. You know, sometimes marriages are based upon green cards.
Right. Yeah.
That's true.
I need citizenship.
That's
And I throw you a couple of thousand, and then, you know, hey, I give you a couple of thousand, and we last about however long the law says we gotta last in order for me to get my green card. And once I get my green card and I'm now a citizen, we don't have to. People have tried to work around the law, to you know, for the sake of convenience. That's nothing new. People been doing that. People been for special privileges and conveniences. People will say I'm married. People say I'm divorced for the sake of survival. They do anything for survival.
Anything for clout or survival.
So he's showing you that what the Most High says is what's honorable in the eyes of the Most High. Read that again.
Hebrews 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all.
It says in what?
In all.
That's why it says one of the three most beautiful things you can do is unify with your brothers, love your neighbors, and have a man and a wife, because that's a marriage in the eyes of the Most High, not society. A man and a wife that agree together. He says when the Most High sees that, he says that's honorable. Go ahead. As long as what? Read on.
And the bed undefiled.
As long as the bed is what?
Undefiled.
But if we're just partners and we're not claiming each other and we're not saying we're together, we're not putting it out there that we're married, then there's no real commitment. Then I don't feel guilty if I stray away, and you shouldn't feel guilty if I stray away, because we're not married.
What are you talking about, babe? We're not married.
We're not, because in this society, people do all the things that married people do, but they just don't want to claim it. They don't want to step up and say and acknowledge and put it out there and be bold enough to say, this is the person that I'm committed to. This is who I'm with. People don't want that responsibility. People want the benefits of marriage. Just like you said about getting out the dorm, or I want the citizenship, I'm trying to get the green card, trying to pass my immigration test. I'm trying to do all these things because I want the benefits. Or I just want the physical benefits. I'm okay with the physical benefits, but I'm not okay with having to be stuck. I don't want to be stuck with this person. That's why. So when the Most High sees that He gave you somebody, somebody came in your life, and if you're doing those things, which we're about to get into in a second, if you're doing those things that quantifies and constitutes a marriage, then why are you still going around deviating from what a marriage is? Why are you still defiling the bed? Why is the bed still defiled? The bed is defiled when I introduce partners for a man, introducing partners that's not his wife, but has no intention of keeping her, into this marriage, and dumping her, and then, or a woman entertaining another man that outside of the person she's having sex with, and it's okay because we're just friends. It's not okay. We're not just friends. There's no such thing as just friends with benefits. There's no such thing as
not serious.
Domestic partnerships. We're not serious. We're just dating. We're dating. There's no, if you're dating and you're having sex, then you're not just dating. See, these are terms that society created to make a person feel better so they don't have to have a guilty conscience about what it is that they're doing. But you should have a guilty conscience, because there's no such thing as dating. If you're sleeping together, that's your husband. If you're sleeping together, that's your wife. There's no gray area in between. There is no, we're just friends. People can put whatever title. All these titles do is just to confuse the truth.
True.
The truth of the matter is, if you're sleeping with this person, that is your husband. That is your wife. He said marriage is only honorable in the eyes of the Most High when the bed is what?
Undefiled.
When the bed is undefiled. Read on.
But whoremongers.
It said, but what?
But whoremongers.
But I just can't get enough. It said, but who?
But whoremongers.
Read on.
And adulterers.
And what else?
And adulterers.
Go ahead.
The Most High will judge.
He said the Most High got special judgment for those. He set it up. He set it up to where you meet a woman, you meet a man, put it together. Put it together. Make a union. Make a bond. Because that's beautiful in the eyes of the Most High. That's attractive.
Make it right.
Make it right. That's what's honorable about it, is the fact that they come together. That they're unified. They're on the same page. Go to Romans 7:1.
Romans chapter 7, verse 1. You ready?
Everybody got it? Go ahead and read that.
Romans chapter 7 and verse 1. Know ye not,
It says, don't you know? Go ahead.
brethren, for I speak to them that know the law.
But not everybody knows the law.
So you're saying everybody doesn't know. We know the 12 reindeer. We know the 4 Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
We know what's coming on TV. We know the newest hottest song.
All the Netflix series.
We know all the Netflix stuff. We don't know the law.
We know all the players of the Spurs, the Cowboys, and
God.
who's playing in the Super Bowl. We know, we name everybody by, all the players by name. But we know what our money look like.
That's true.
We keep more particular attention to bills and finances than we do of the laws of the Most High. Read on.
For I speak to them that know the law.
He says, but I speak to them that what?
Know the law.
The problem is, the reason why people are falling apart in today's society, because people don't know the law. People don't know what a marriage is. They don't know the definition of a marriage. They don't know what the Most High qualifies a marriage to be. People create their own definitions of marriage. He said, but I speak to them that know the law. For us that know the law, read on.
How that the law hath dominion over man as long as he liveth?
Is the law done away with? Is there ever a time that you could eat pork? Is there ever a time that you could eat swine? Why not?
Because
It's
The law.
Can anybody prove that that's a law?
Leviticus 19.
11:7. Read it.
11:7.
Yeah, just real quick. Can we prove that that's a law? That I can't eat bacon, pepperoni, hog maws, chitlins, fatback, Canadian bacon,
Leviticus chapter 11,
tamales,
verse 7
pork
reads,
skins,
and the swine,
and the what?
and the swine,
This is the law. And the swine, go ahead.
though he divide the hoof,
He got a split hoof. Go ahead.
and be cloven footed,
Go ahead. He's cloven footed. Go ahead.
yet he cheweth not the cud.
The swine don't eat grass. The swine eats what? Slop. Anything. Even dead people. So swine eat anything. Read on.
He is unclean to you.
He said he is what?
Unclean
Is
to
there,
you.
is there ever a time where the pig has been made clean in the eyes of the Most High?
La'ah.
He said he is unclean to you. Read on.
Verse 8. Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
Pig feet.
Back there.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat. And their carcass
Pigtails. Hog snout.
Shall ye not?
shall ye not eat.
So all these things that we eat, sausage, pepperoni, salami, bologna, all these things are pork-based products.
Mixed sandwich or mixed breakfast.
McRibs,
Do that.
the famous the McRib is back. Baby back ribs. He said, read on,
Of their flesh shall ye not eat.
read on.
And their carcass shall ye not touch.
So you supposed to wear pig skin jackets?
And their carcass shall ye not touch.
So pig skin wallets, purses, and belts.
And their carcass shall ye not touch.
Pig skin boots.
And their carcass shall ye not touch.
Why? Read on.
They are unclean to you.
The Most High said they're what?
Unclean to you.
Go ahead.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Okay, so he said they're unclean, right? So it is saying that it's an abomination, just unclean.
Unclean.
All right.
So,
So verse 11 says what? He said abomination, right? It's unclean, right?
God, they
So-
shall.
So I just want to get that point about there's laws that are not done away with. There's a lot of laws that are still in effect. So read that again in Romans chapter 7.
Romans chapter 7. You want one from the top? Or you want two?
Verse 1 again.
Romans chapter 7 verse 1. Know ye not, brethren,
For I speak to them that know the law.
And if you know the law, because a lot of us have been taught, the Most High winks at ignorance. It's one thing if you don't know the law, then you can't be expected to live up to the law, and you won't be judged the same.
But church never taught me the law.
Right, exactly. Religion never taught me the law. So if I don't know the law, then I'm ignorant to God's righteousness. So, but if I do know the law, then I understand that the law, go ahead.
How that the law hath dominion over the man as long as he liveth.
As long as what?
As long as he liveth.
So as long as a man is walking the earth, he is under God's laws. Those laws are not done away with.
And the word dominion means to be master.
They have mastery over me, right?
Go.
Or power over me, or control over me. Read on.
Verse 2. For the woman which hath a husband.
And he says, just like a man that knows the law, knows that he's under the law as long as he lives. It says, and the woman which hath a what?
For the woman which hath a husband is bound by the law.
Is bound by the law. Go ahead.
To her husband.
Go ahead.
As long as he liveth.
So how long did the Most High intend a marriage to last?
As long.
As long as the husband liveth.
As long as the husband is alive. So when you create a marriage, and you create this union and this partnership, the Most High is expecting this relationship to go how far?
For life.
It's for life. Somebody give me the definition of matrimony. Definition of matrimony.
MATRIMONY.
Mm-hmm.
Matrimony. The state or ceremony of being married.
A little closer to the mic. There you go. Perfect.
What else?
The state or ceremony of being married or marriage. That's all it says underneath.
Go ahead.
Matrimony, 1828. Marriage, wedlock, the union of man and women
It
for
says
life.
the union of man and woman for what?
Life,
For what?
life,
For how long?
life.
So when you enter a woman, when a man humbles a woman, deflowers her, takes her virginity, the Most High expects that union to last how long?
For life.
For life. So when these two people agree together to lay down together, how long is the Most High expecting that union to last?
For life.
For life.
We just partners.
For life.
We just friends.
For life.
We have an agreement.
For life.
I mean, you are.
We just look out for each other.
For life.
See, I got needs.
For life.
She got needs and I got needs.
For life.
Got problems.
She just scratching my itch.
For life.
Life cereal.
You know what I'm saying? So he said, for the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to what?
To her husband as long as he liveth.
Go ahead.
But if the husband is dead.
Go ahead.
She is loose from the law of her husband.
So when is the only time that a woman could step outside of that relationship?
When he's dead.
When he's dead. Read on.
Verse 3. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress.
And she shall be called a what?
An adulteress.
So the Most High doesn't want this. He doesn't want to raise up a generation of adulterers and adulteresses. He doesn't want to raise up a generation of people that are involved in whoredom, that are defiling the bedroom. He doesn't want to raise up a generation of people that are looking at the relationship as being just a fleshly thing. It's only a physical benefit. The Most High is not looking for that. There's a reason the Most High has this thing together. So, yes, sir.
And that today is watered down by the word cheater.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right. Because a cheater don't sound as bad. Oh, you just cheater, pumpkin eater. You know what I'm saying? It don't sound as bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But an adulterer is a person that the Most High despises.
Okay.
So the Most High takes no pleasure in that, and we can prove that in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. Read that.
1 Corinthians 6 and verse 15.
1 second. Let's everybody get it.
It's right after.
After on verse.
6 and 15. 1 Corinthians chapter 6.
Yeah, let me get it too.
Verse 15.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
All right.
Read that.
Okay. 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 15.
If you got it, it's cool. If you got it, it's cool.
Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Yahushua?
It says your bodies are the members of Christ. Yahushua is the Hebrew word for Christ. So he said your bodies are the members. They're attached to who? Christ. They belong to who? Christ. So you have an obligation to Christ. Your bodies are, because why does every man and every woman belong to Christ? Read verse 19 real quick.
1 Corinthians 6 and verse 19. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you,
Read on.
which ye have of the Most High, and ye are not your own?
You don't belong to you. A man may think he belongs to himself. A woman may think she has options. A woman may think she belongs to herself.
My body.
It's my body.
choice.
It's my choice. It's my prerogative. Like Bobby Brown said,
Come.
I do what I want to do.
I'm not married.
So he said that. He said, but it's not your body, your choice. You belong to Christ. It says, know ye not that your bodies are what?
Is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you,
Go ahead.
which ye have of the Most High, and ye are not your own.
What you don't own yourself. You don't belong to you. So you can't do to you what you want to do. You can't do with you what you want to do. Jump back to verse 15 again.
Verse 15. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Yahushua?
And that's why it says your bodies are a member of Christ. They belong to Christ because your body's been paid for. The price of your body was paid in blood. It was paid in blood by Christ. That's why you can't do what you want to do and have options, so to speak. Read.
Shall I then take the members of Yahushua and make them the members of an harlot?
Shall I take what's holy, what's spiritual, what's sacred, in the eyes of the Most High, which is my body, and join my body to a what?
A harlot.
To a whore. Male or female. There's male and female whores. He says, shall I take what's special to the Most High and tie it up and tie it into and unify it with a whore? Read on.
The Most High forbid.
Go ahead.
What? Know ye not?
He says, don't you understand that whoever you attach your body to, how the Most High looks at this attachment? Read on.
That he which is joined to an harlot is one body.
The Most High looks at you as what?
One.
So if he's a whore and you dealing with him, the Most High looks at who?
You.
He looks at you as a whore. And if she's a whore and you deal with her, the Most High looks at you as a whore. He says because they're joined. When you partner yourself with somebody, the Most High constitutes them as one. There's no such thing as she's a freak. No, you're a freak.
She's a freak, not me.
There's no such thing as
Come.
she was easy. You're easy.
Yeah.
There's no such a thing.
Come.
The Most High said two shall be one. So you have to be conscious about who you're tying yourself with. Read on.
For two, said he, shall be one flesh.
And that's how the Most High looks at every sexual engagement. You are no longer an individual. You're now a couple. You're now a unified partner. You're now married. So the Most High will judge you the same as your discretionary choices,
Come.
or the lack of discretionary choices. The Most High will judge you the same way. It wasn't the person was loose and easy. No, you are too. Because two become one flesh, right? So now go back to where we go back. Hold that and go to Malachi chapter 2 verse 12, because the bed must be undefiled. That's the whole point.
In the Old Testament.
In the last book of the Old Testament,
Malachi 2 and 12.
Right before Matthew. Malachi what?
2 and 12.
2.
Malachi chapter 2 and verse 12. Everybody got it?
So read that last part of after you had it, Hebrews 13 and 4, I believe. You had the last part of Hebrews, right?
Hebrews 13 and 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled.
Read on.
But whoremongers,
It said, but who?
but whoremongers
Go ahead.
and adulterers,
Read on.
the Most High will judge.
The Most High got a special judgment for adulterers and whoremongers. So read Malachi chapter 2 verse 12.
Malachi chapter 2 verse 12. The Lord will cut off the man that doeth this,
Go ahead.
The master and the scholar.
He says, so what's the judgment of the Most High that he got set up for whores or adulterers? The Most High got judgment. What's some of his judgment? He said the Most High will cut a man off. For what? That doeth this. Read.
The master and the scholar, out of the tabernacles of Jacob, and him that offereth an offering unto the Lord of hosts. And this have ye done again, covering the altar of the Lord with tears.
It says you bringing people, the way that you're operating in your relationships or your sexual orientation or lack of discretion, you all you're doing is breaking hearts. All you're doing is breaking a bunch of hearts, dealing with people, making them promises, and defiling the bedroom, and leaving them hanging, taking no responsibility for what I've done. Just deal with a person. Thank you. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I'm in and I'm out. No accountability, no responsibility, no dedication, no recognition that the Most High is expecting a lifelong partnership. Not at all. But all I'm doing is breaking hearts, and I glorified calling myself a player. You know, pimping ain't easy, or whatever you want to call it. You glorify the action, but the Most High said he got judgment in store for you. Because you think it's as easy as just dealing with people, not understanding what the Most High qualified or constituted a union to look like. You just can't go dealing with everybody on a carnal, physical, sexual level and then get in and get out. She blaze me, I blaze her.
No.
You know,
Nothing
come
more,
on,
nothing
Ma.
less.
Come on, Ma. You know I got a
I
wife.
got a wife.
You know what I'm saying? But read on.
With weeping.
With what?
With weeping.
Go ahead.
And with crying out, insomuch that he regarded not
And
the
that
offering.
crying out is that person's spirit never is the same.
Right.
Some people ain't the same, bro. Some people get wounded in marriage, and they're just not the same person no more. Their personality changes, how they act changes, their trust level changes.
The trust is broken.
They're not the same person they were before they came to that situation. And for the rest of their life, they're gonna be a completely, or not maybe not completely, but they're gonna be jaded. And the rest of the people, quote unquote, that come in their life have to feel the wrath of that person's pain that they dealt with from those situations.
Scarred. No, I was gonna say some of them even go to far extent to want to go to the other team, if you know. What
Exactly, and that happens often.
Yeah.
Often after a certain I've been dogged out this many times, then I don't trust men. You know what? I'm gonna switch my orientation up, like Sean Shawan said, and I'm gonna find on the other side. It don't work either.
I had that conversation recently. This young lady, she came up to me and said, I haven't seen her in a while. She said, oh yeah, and by the way, I found out that I'm gay. She had a horrible marriage.
You know, you resorted to that.
Exactly.
That was a choice.
People lose hope.
But you know, I've given up on men.
Yeah.
That's why some men already automatically say men are dogs. Men say women are bitches. But we already have these predisposed perceptions of each other. I already know what you want, so I'm gonna play you like you're trying to play me. I already know you're trying to play me. I already know you in this relationship for one thing. So I'm gonna get the best of you because you're trying to get the best of me.
Because there's no what? There's no law.
Because there's no law. So now we're just trying to see who can get the most out of each other.
Two can play that game.
Yeah, two can play that game. That's all it is now. So now a competition. Who gonna get the most out of this relationship before it falls out? Because we already know it's not gonna last.
I won.
So yeah, so I could walk away and feel like I was the victor, or I was the one that, hey, I came out unscathed, unhurt. I came out on top. That's what everybody want to do now. Get the best of each other, rob each other. No commitment, no real dedication. Read on.
Come. And with crying out, insomuch that he regardeth not the offering anymore.
And the Most High said, whatever, when this happens, the Most High cuts a man off or he cuts a woman off when this happens.
Wow. He don't regard the offering anymore.
You can't please the Most High because the intention wasn't pure. The purpose behind the unity wasn't pure. The intention behind the marriage wasn't pure. So the Most High said he stops listening to you. Read on.
Or receiveth it with goodwill at your hand.
And the Most High said, whatever you bring to him, he's going to look at it as defiled. You think I'm not regarding your offering anymore. Neither will I receive it at goodwill. Who are you trying to fool? Are you trying to play me like you're trying to play people? Because you play games with people. The Most High is like, don't bring these games to me. I know your real intention. Read on.
Malachi chapter 2, verse 14.
Go ahead.
Yet ye say, wherefore?
We say, why is the Lord so angry at me? Why has the Most High not been blessing my hand? Why is he not blessing my marriage? Why is he not blessing my relationships? Why is he not blessing my relationships?
Come on.
I see other people happy. I see the other people making it. Why is the Most High not blessing mine? Read on.
Most High's not fair.
Most High's not fair.
People say that.
People say the Most High's not fair. You know, life ain't fair. Or it's all the other person's fault.
And they'll keep their other friends single because they single.
Right. Matter of fact, it tells you that. I like what you said. Hold on, Dawg. Yeah, you
give some bad counsel.
Hold on. You said something right here. You said something.
Yeah.
It says that
Talk real quick.
hold on. It said that read that verse number 16 right here. Not verse 16.
Point 16. People are 75% more likely to end their marriage if a friend is divorced. Wow.
You just said it.
That's a killer, bro.
You just said it right there.
That's a killer, bro.
Because misery loves company.
People are 75% more likely to end their marriage if a friend is divorced. Whoa.
So you know when you fail to uphold a good marriage and make it honorable in the sight of people around you, all you do is influence other people to quit their marriage too.
Wow.
So when you don't understand what it's like to be married and you give off a bad example of marriage and your marriage misrepresents what a marriage is supposed to be, you're going to influence people around you to quit on theirs. Because your marriage is bad. Because you don't know what it means to be married. Because you don't know how to love somebody. Because you don't know how to choose a partner. You don't know how to make it work. Because you don't know how to make it last.
Stay committed.
You don't know how to stay committed, and you don't see the beauty in it. So now you just spill and spew weakness and quitting for everybody else that's trying to make it work. But that's great. Read on.
Malachi chapter 2 and verse 14 from the top. Yet ye say, wherefore?
But we say, why is the Most High so angry at me? Why is he not blessing my relationship? Why is he not blessing my union? Why is he not blessing my marriage? Read on.
Because the Lord has been witness.
Because the Most High is watching. He's watching how you conduct yourself in your marriage. Are you living up and fulfilling the purpose of the intention that he designed a marriage for? Read on.
Between thee and the wife of thy youth.
Who's watching your household?
Wow.
Most High.
The Most High is watching. And you wonder why the Most High is not blessing it like you see everybody else getting blessed. Because the Most High is paying attention to it. And what is he seeing that you're doing? Read on.
Against whom thou hast dealt treacherously.
You've been what?
Treacherously.
You've been treacherous with your woman. You've been treacherous in your relationship. You've been treacherous with your man. Yes, sir.
Treacherously. By violating allegiance or faith pledged. By betraying a trust.
By betraying what?
A trust.
How do I betray trust in a relationship?
Many ways, dude.
Break the inch.
I defile the bed. That's how I break trust. I make the bed defiled. I pollute the bedroom. Yeah. Yeah, bring it up. Yeah.
Okay. They said the word treacherous means to cheat. So the word means treachery, to cheat, treacher, a cheat, old French treacherous.
Read on.
Wow.
Yet is she thy companion?
It said, isn't she your companion? Isn't she your partner? Weren't you supposed to be unified with her? Weren't y'all supposed to be building together? Thought y'all was one. Thought y'all was together. Read on.
And the wife of thy covenant.
And the wife of thy what?
Covenant.
You're in a contract, man. You're in a contract with this person.
Before the Most High.
But in the eyes of the Most High. Read on.
And did not he make one?
So let me explain what he's saying. He says, did he not make what?
And did not he make one?
So the Most High is looking, when he says, and did he not make one? He's looking for two people to do what?
Become one.
To become one. That's what the Most High is expecting. He's expecting two to become one. Read on.
Yet had he the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore one?
It says, okay, so if the Most High gave man the residue of his spirit, because we read in Genesis that the man was made, man and woman was created in the image of who?
Most High.
The Most High. He says, it says, Genesis 5, he said, male and female, he created them, right? And created them in his image. So he says, does not man have a portion or the residue of the spirit of the Most High? So then, what should man be doing with the spirit or the residue of the Most High? He's supposed to be bringing forth something positive, something good, right? I'm going to explain. Read it again.
And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit?
So, what are you supposed to be doing with the residue of the Most High Spirit? Being made in his image? Read on.
And wherefore one?
And why the Most High is looking at two people coming together to become one? And they agree together? And there's matrimony, the bed is undefiled, they're committed to each other. Why does the Most High care so much about this marriage? Why does the Most High care so much about you being on the same page with your partner? Read on.
That he might seek a godly seed.
Because the Most High is expecting what to come from you and this person?
Godly
that
seed.
he might seek a godly seed.
So who is expecting a godly seed?
Most High.
So what are you doing with this marriage?
Not producing fruit.
Pollute my seed.
Hold on. We producing fruit though. Go to Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha chapter 41 verse 5. We producing. Yeah, hold that. 41 and 5. Read that. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 41 verse 5.
Ecclesiastes chapter 41 and verse 5. Ecclesiastes chapter 41 verse 5. The children of sinners are abominable children.
Oh, hold on.
Wow.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
That's a bomb right there, bro.
We producing. We are yielding. We are yielding. But when you're not in the right relationship and you bringing about the wrong seed, the Most High said these seeds are what?
Abominable children.
He says that the children that come from these broken relationships are abominable in the eyes of the Most High. You know what you've given them? You've given them the wrong example of what it means to be married. Now I put on display to these children what a man or woman shouldn't look like or shouldn't do together. When I put this disharmony out there, or I'm defiling the bedroom, and I'm just making a bunch of babies, and I'm stepping out of the relationship, making babies. Read on. How does the Most High feel about this? Read it again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 41 verse 5. The children of sinners are abominable children, and they are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly.
Read on.
Wow, they're conversing in the dwelling of the ungodly. Okay.
Yeah.
The inheritance of sinners, children shall perish.
It says the inheritance of sinners' children shall what?
Perish.
Read on.
And their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach.
Read on.
The children will complain of an ungodly father.
Read it again.
Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all that he left was alone.
That's the jam. I'm sorry. That was true.
You know what I'm saying? It says children shall do what?
Will complain of an ungodly father.
Go ahead.
Because they shall be reproached for his sake.
Because they're gonna grow up broken.
Right.
for his sake, because he had an opportunity to show and demonstrate what a good marriage was supposed to look like. And from this unity, they were supposed to get a blessing from the Lord. They were supposed to get a blessing from the Most High. But instead of getting a blessing, you passed down a curse because you just didn't make the right choices in marriage. So now I push the curse down to my children. Hold that. And Ecclesiastes, go to Ecclesiastes 16 and 1.
I got a precept.
What's the verse?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 6.
Read it.
Reads.
Hold on. Hold that thought. Yeah, read it. Go ahead.
Come. For children begotten of unlawful beds are witnesses of wickedness against their parents in their trial.
Read that again? Yeah, it's the same one. Read it again.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 6.
Go ahead.
Reads. For children begotten of unlawful beds.
Because you brought whoredom into the household. And now the Most High looks at that house as a house full of whoredom and adultery. And now there's children born from it. Read on.
Of unlawful beds are witnesses of wickedness against their parents in their trial.
So that's evidence that I've been wicked. Because I'm making babies, and this is through adultery. This is through whoredom. So the Most High is looking at these children as being cursed.
This plagues the so-called, Native Americans and so-called Negroes and Latinos.
You know what these are called? These are called bastard children. Man.
Come.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Come.
There's a whole bunch of them.
All because we didn't keep the law of the Most High.
Because we didn't honor marriage. So we got a bunch of bastard kids running around in our communities.
Somebody had a question.
Somebody had a question?
Corey had a question?
Okay. Ecclesiastes 16 and 1.
Ecclesiastes chapter 16, verse 1. Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children.
It says what?
Read it again.
Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children.
That's 16 and 1, right?
Yes. Don't just try to spread your seed everywhere. I'm just trying to plant seeds wherever I find, wherever they land. It says, desire not a multitude of unprofitable children. Go ahead.
Neither delight in ungodly sons.
Read on.
Though they multiply, rejoice not in them.
It says, though they multiply, rejoice not in them. Go ahead.
Except the fear of the Lord be with them.
The only time that you should rejoice in your children is that you put the what in them?
Fear of the Lord.
You should only rejoice in your children if they possess the what?
Fear of the Lord.
But if you didn't demonstrate the fear of the Lord through your marriage, how do you expect them to have it? They're just supposed to figure it out on their own? Are they supposed to learn the hard way? Or are they supposed to go through 3 or 4 marriages and finally get it right? In fact, I got a stat too. Hold on.
Stat day.
Read this right here, 17.
17. Second marriages have a higher rate of divorce.
So yeah, you just gonna go through
What type of marriage?
Second, meaning the second time around.
Okay.
Second marriages have a higher rate of divorce. While the rate of the first marriage is 40 to 50%. Second marriage statistics show this increases to 67% for second marriages and a whopping 75% divorce rate for third marriages.
So, is it true that the third time's a charm?
No.
No.
Not in that situation.
No, man.
Please for understanding
Did
that.
Pamela Anderson just get another divorce? She's like on number 10. Yeah, she can't get it right. The stats get lower. The more partners you get, the stats they go against you.
So you feel the first
The
time.
odds are against you. Not saying it's not possible, but you know, am I supposed to teach this to my kids? Is this demonstration of a broken home supposed to be put in the front of the eyes of my kids?
Nah.
Is this what they're supposed to learn that a marriage looks like?
Nah.
All they do is inherit a curse. Because now they got to figure it out for themselves.
And it's safe to say these marriages aren't working because they're not going off of advice from the Bible. They go off of advice from people that aren't spiritual, places and sources of information that aren't biblically related. They're getting advice from all kind of places, but none of it comes from the Bible.
Right.
So how's it going? What foundation does it have to make it last?
You know, the scriptures say ye do err, not knowing the what? Nor the what?
Because
Power of the Most High.
people trust their parents for advice, and I get that. But if the advice ain't coming from the Bible, it might not work that second generation.
There's not. They have a less chance of, especially in these days.
Because the times have changed.
The times have changed. The times are worse. Divorce rate is higher than it's ever been. So there's more bad examples of marriages than there are good examples.
So you're saying that if people they got married in the 80s and 90s and out of high school and it worked out, society at that time wasn't the society we live in now.
No.
It wasn't anywhere as toxic for marriages.
Marriages were stronger during slavery than they are now. Those are facts.
Yeah.
You had a better chance keeping your relationship as a slave than you do now in America when you're not a slave. Yes, sir.
I mean, if you look at the social media thing, toxic relationships are popular. They make it a thing.
It's entertainment. But it's not fun when you live in one. It's fun when you watch it on TV. But when you're in it and you're involved in a toxic relationship, that's no fun.
They brag about it.
It's no bueno. It's no fun. It's fun. It's fun to proclaim. The more ratchet, the better. That's for entertainment. That's for ratings. That's Hollywood. But when you got a broken home, you got a broken relationship, and there's turmoil and there's tension every day, and there's skyrocketing arguments. Yeah, that's no place to be. It says it's better to dwell on a rooftop or with a lion than a brawling and contentious woman. So when you got tension, it's not just on the woman; it's the men too. It's both parties. So the kids are really going to be destroyed. The kids are really going to be hurt. Finish that in verse 4. Verse 3, I'm sorry.
Ecclesiastes chapter 16, verse 3. Trust not thou in their life, neither respect their multitude. For one that is just is better than 1,000.
Go ahead.
And better is it to die without children than to have them that are ungodly.
Read on.
For by one...
It says for by what?
For by one...
All you need is one good example. And you need one good kid that's willing to keep and maintain the fear of the Lord. That's why it's so critical that what you do, you put the right information, the right example in front of your children. That's why it's so critical that your children see a successful home, that they see a successful marriage, that they see a successful union, and that they fear the Lord. Because if my children don't fear the Lord, then there's nothing to brag about. Because I didn't put the fear of the Lord in them. I didn't teach them to fear the Lord. I taught them how to go from boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend, or girlfriend to girlfriend to girlfriend. That's what I taught them. I taught them how to hop around. And I taught them how to quit. And I taught them how to fight and argue. He said, but the Most High said, what in verse 4?
For by one that hath understanding.
He said, the Most High said, he put the marriage together so that he produce a godly seed. He wants godly couples to produce godly children. If you got a whole bunch of baby's kids, that's nothing to be proud about.
Baby.
You got a whole bunch of kids those are 80s and 90s terms, baby's kids. Those ain't even terms people use nowadays. Gremlins. Well, I don't know what you want to call them nowadays, but
Tax write-offs.
Tax write-offs.
Yeah.
Jail fake.
Rugrats. I don't know what people call them now, but or these kids right now that's shooting each other down, killing each other left and right. No fear of law, no fear of police, no fear of nobody, no fear of authority. Just straight anarchy. He says, for by one that have understanding, go ahead,
shall the city be replenished.
And to prove that, go to 2nd Ezra chapter 3 verse 9. 2nd Ezra chapter 3 verse 9. And hold that where you are in
the Apocrypha.
Malachi.
Right? So that's
Second Ezra 3 and verse 9.
Hey, wait till I get this. Sir.
Tell them what page it's on.
What page?
I don't have that same book.
Oh, you don't?
I got the black.
Somebody call the page.
Page,
Somebody call the page.
page 16.
Somebody call it out.
Chapter 3 and 9.
Second Ezra 3 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
It says, and again, in the process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelt in the world.
It says the Most High brought a flood during whose time frame?
It was
Noah's
time.
Noah's time frame, right?
Come.
Go ahead.
And destroyed them.
He's destroyed the people, right? Go ahead.
And it came to pass, in every of them, that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these.
Read on.
Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest.
He says how many?
One of them thou leftest.
Who was the one person the Most High restored?
Namely Noah.
It says namely who?
Noah.
Now, it only takes one godly spirit to replenish the earth. The Most High is not trying to have children from broken homes, which we are, but it is only by the grace of the Most High that we got this truth and this knowledge to fix what's been broken.
Come.
If we analyze our parents' relationships, it wasn't always good. If we analyze our own homes and seeing the turmoil, it's a blessing if you even had both parents. It's a blessing that if you even had good decent examples at home. But it's even better when you teach your children to fear the Most High and you teach them the laws. Because these are the ones the Most High will use to replenish and restore the earth.
So why would church tell somebody the law don't apply no more then? If the law gives the foundation to people maintaining their commitment to the Most High, maintaining their marriage, maintaining their children, maintaining their families, why would religion teach not to keep the law of the Most High?
Because broken homes keep the economy going. It keeps the jails packed. It keeps enforcements, police enforcements. It keeps payroll going. You got a lot of money set aside for food stamps, city budgets, divorce courts, marriage courts. It doesn't help society that everybody is in order, because then the machine is already started as far as what feeds this machine. City budgets, state funding for prisons. They need to keep, if a state doesn't use the money that is set aside for its prisoners for that year, they lose the money. So they gotta keep the jails going because they got contracts to feed. They gotta keep now there's privatized prisons and state funded prisons, and you gotta keep them beds filled on a privatized prison. So if those beds are not filled, the state has to pay for those beds.
Wow.
For those beds not being full. Now that's money out of the state's pocket. So what do we gotta do? Keep people broken. Keep households broken. That keeps the jails going. It keeps law enforcement paid. It keeps new uniforms. It keeps new cars, new vehicles, new vests, new weapons, new everything.
So you're saying that this is like the divorce court and divorces in general are like a business.
Keep the Jerry Springer going. You get good ratings when you got broken homes.
Judge Jerry now.
Oh, Judge Jerry Springer?
Judge Jerry now.
Oh, Judge Jerry
He's the
Springer.
boss now.
Judge Judy. Judge Joe Brown. The People's Court. Divorce Court. What's the other brother with the ball? Montel Williams.
He been going for
Montel Williams. Sally
Maury
Povich, Sally Jesse Raphael. I'm talking about all these old people that's been publicizing.
The bodyguard of Jerry Springer. The bodyguard had one.
Steve.
That's my boy. I kind of like that. I kind of like the dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop fighting. Yeah, I like them.
You know, so now there's money involved. There's money involved by us being broken as a people. There's no money when we get ourselves together. Right. There's no money involved. Think about the cigarette and weed sales and alcohol sales. It will deplenish when we make up probably the majority of I don't know if you pay attention, but Look at every black person that walk into a corner store.
Right.
If they're not scratching lottery tickets, they're getting cigarettes and alcohol. It's almost like their vices are paying and keeping the economy going.
Cigars.
Cigars, cigarettes,
beer.
And you gotta wait till somebody pick. Man, you got the apple? No, I ain't got the apple. Let me get the 2 with the wood tips. We out of those 2. You be in line like, damn, I'm trying to get some gas, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just want the wood tip this and the cherry flavor that. Man, you got any of those? You got the Optimals, you got the white out with the leaf with the gold. Man, I don't want to hear about your. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get some gas. I can keep going. But our people, their vices pay the economy. Keeping our people high or intoxicated or chemically addicted on substances, it pays too well. No, don't say it. That's why I'm saying it pays too well to keep us in a broken state. They don't want us to have the laws. Then you don't need jails. You teach our people the laws of the Most High, you eliminate jails, prison. They would drastically all the damn probation officers, all the courts, magistrates, county tickets, the damn
police forces,
divorce courts, abuse facilities. All these things go down the drain when we get ourselves together.
It's funny you say it because a lot of people that are in jail statistically come from broken homes.
Yeah, you have a higher rate, a higher what do they call it? A retention rate of jail, of going to jail and staying in jail.
Yeah, recidivism.
Yeah. When you come from a broken home, you're more likely to fall in the hands of some facility or some state or federal ran organization, whether it be some youth correctional department or youth correctional facility, which is just a place just working your way up into the jails, into the prisons. You just been practicing jail, practicing prison with these youth facilities, youth detention facilities.
Just too young to go to the real place.
Right.
That's the majority of like psychiatric
They
appointments.
used to call it the Adi home.
Right.
Psychologists.
So what he's showing is it pays to keep us broken. They don't want to steer us in the right direction. These programs that are multi-million-dollar programs will crumble. These multi-million-dollar programs will fall apart.
We're getting rich.
Or CPS.
I only have the statistic for women, but it did a study of 14,000 women in prison that showed more than half grew up without their father, 42% grew up in a single mother household, and 16 lived with neither parent.
Say it louder.
Gotta say it louder for the camera.
It said a study of 14,000 women in prison showed that more than half grew up without their father, and 42% grew up in a single mother household, and 16% live with neither parent.
So it's showing you that they're more likely to fall into the hands of prison when they come from a broken relationship. You're doing these children a disservice because you don't know what a marriage is supposed to look like. You're ruining the future of these children because you can't get along with your partner. That's sad and it's scary. But it's not getting any better. Because people don't understand, neither do they care to know, what does the Most High constitute a marriage as? How does he look at a marriage? And what does he want from a marriage? He doesn't want ungodly children that's having to blame their parents for my situation.
There's one more quote. It's by a Republican senator, I guess. His name is John Duncan. He says, well over 90% of felony cases all over the nation are committed by defendants who grew up in father-absent households.
Read it again.
Senator John Duncan says well over 90% of felony cases all over the nation are committed by defendants who grew up in father-absent households.
I just had a good time.
Yeah.
Somebody to pay for that good time, huh?
Yeah. You know who's suffering for that? Them kids. The kids are suffering from bad choices, bad decision making, violence in the household, tension in the household, or just up and leaving, just abandoning the household. The children are stuck, and now we wonder why they fall victim into these correctional facilities, detention centers.
They just made bad choices.
That's the kid. It's the kid's fault, right?
They just made bad choices.
It's the children's fault. It's not the children's fault. But the Most High said, listen, the purpose of the marriage was this. Go back to where we was at in Malachi chapter 2, verse 15. Yes.
You want that from the top?
Yeah.
Malachi chapter 2 and verse 15. And did not he make one? Yet,
So he was trying to unify two people to make a union. Go ahead.
yet had he the residue of the Spirit.
And what were you supposed to do with the Spirit of the Most High? Why did the Most High make Adam and Eve in His image? So they can come together and bring forth what? Go ahead.
And wherefore one?
Go ahead.
That he might seek a godly seed.
When he says wherefore one, he's talking about a marriage. Why a marriage? Why put a man and a woman together? So that from this man and woman, a godly seed can be born upon earth. Not gremlins. Not hardheads. Not knuckleheads. Not jailbait. The next prisoners. That's not why the Most High is having you come together with a woman or a man. He's trying to have the right union to bring about a godly seed of individuals. And with that godly seed of individuals that come from your loins, because you know what a marriage looks like, you bring about godly children. And the Most High don't need a whole lot of them. He just need a few of them. Like we reading in 2nd Ezra chapter 3 verse 9. Where was that in verse 9?
Okay. 2nd Ezra chapter 3 and verse 9.
You can let that go, Amiyati.
It says, well, we got 11.
Go ahead.
Verse 11. Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest, namely Noah, with his household.
With his what?
With his household.
Who did the Most High save?
Noah. With his household.
With his who?
Household.
No, Noah by himself.
With his household.
He saved Noah with his what?
Household.
So how many people were saved because of Noah's actions?
The whole household.
8 individuals total. It was 4 men and 4 women.
Yeah.
Because of Noah's actions. It was Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives. Why did the Most High retain those 3 wives for those 3 sons? To repopulate. You know why? Because the Most High wiped away all them other seeds. He didn't need all them bad seeds. That's how the Most High cleansed the earth from bad seeds. All the other children were no good. They were abominable. You can read that in Genesis 6. He said their imagination was evil continually.
Because they were trained.
Because they came from broken places. Nobody cared about doing things the right way. Because you don't care about doing things the right way, you lead about a civilization and a whole state, a society of broken people. And wicked people that have to suffer from your choices. Because you won't perfect a marriage. Because you won't honor a marriage. You don't look at a marriage the way the Most High look at a marriage. That's the problem. That's why the Most High had to wipe the earth clean the first time and start over with 3 men and 3 women. Let that go. Mark chapter 10 verse 1.
Malachi?
Yeah, let that go in Malachi. That's fine.
Mark chapter 10
right?
verse 1.
Yeah, Matthew, Mark. So Mark, 2nd book of the New Testament.
There you go.
2nd book of New Testament.
10 verse 1.
Yep.
Mark chapter 10 verse 1. And he arose from thence and cometh into the coast of Judea by the farther side of Jordan, and the people resort unto him again.
Go ahead.
And as he was wont, he taught them again. And the Pharisees came to him and asked him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife?
Go ahead.
Tempting him. And he answered and said unto them, What did Moses command you?
What did Moses command you? Why did Christ tell the Pharisees? What did Moses say?
Because they already
Say it again.
Because he was given the commandment.
Because they already knew. Moses gave the commandment in marriage.
Yeah.
He gave the law concerning marriage. That's why he's asked, Christ said, why are you asking me? What did Moses tell you? Meaning, from the time of Moses to Christ, did anything change in marriage?
No, nothing changed, that.
Was anything was supposed to be done away with? Was the rules of marriage changed by the time Christ came on the scene?
It's a new year, it's a new generation.
New generation, new year, new people in charge. The Romans have rule at this time. That doesn't change marriage. Time has changed, But the law of marriage has not changed. That's why Christ told him, what did Moses tell you? Nothing changes. Marriage is marriage no matter how people try to define it. Read on.
Verse 4. And they said, Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement and to put her away.
They said Moses let us cut a woman off and write a woman a bill of divorcement and cut her off. Read on.
Verse 5. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, For the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept.
He says this was an amendment to the law. Moses made an amendment to the law of marriage simply because of what?
The
hardness of your heart.
The hardness of men's heart. The problem is men are so nitpicky. Men are so emotional. Men are so unstable. Men are so fickle.
Untutored.
Unlearned. Unlettered. Men are so emotional that they can't get over their woman's flaws. They can't get over their woman's errors and their woman's mistakes. They can't get over what's not so pretty about their woman.
They're not good trainers.
Not trained. She gets on my nerves. She talk too much. She gets under my skin. But what men don't understand that a woman is a direct reflection of you. Can we prove that?
It's gotta be the Bible. It's gotta be in the Bible somewhere, right?
Wicked man is giving us to a wicked woman is giving us to a woman.
Don't say it. Don't give it away. Read it.
Just pull the scripture out.
Don't cheat, brother. Ecclesiastes chapter 26.
Yep.
Start at verse 22.
Ecclesiastes 26 and verse 22.
So Ecclesiastes 26 and verse 22, right?
And a harlot shall be accounted as spittle.
It says a harlot is as a value of what?
Spittle.
Spittle. What's spittle?
Spit.
How did the Most High look at a whore?
Your spit.
Like spit, right? Go ahead.
But a married woman.
But a what?
But a married woman.
So a woman that's just dealing with a whole bunch of men, the Most High don't honor that. He said, but a married woman, a woman that's committed to her husband, is what?
Is a tower against death to her husband.
Can I make this point real quick?
God.
The funny part is, if the Most High says the value of a whore is as spit, and a woman that's married is like a tower against death, then why would a married woman listen to whores? She's more valuable. If you're more valuable, then in the eyes of the Most High, if a married woman is more valuable than whores,
than a woman that's sleeping around.
The woman who's bouncing around, I say promiscuous woman, that might make it more clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
If a married woman is more valuable than promiscuous women, why would married women listen to the opinions of promiscuous women?
I have an answer, but I'll let the class answer first.
Society teaches you it's the other way around. There's more value in that promiscuous woman than what she has.
Can you put them on the mic up? Because people can't hear it on the mic.
Nah, it's locked, yeah. No, it's just because society in this world teaches you the other way around. That there's more value in that woman that's willing to just give her body and her opinions instead of a woman that's actually just wholesome, willing to cover up, be humble to her husband, be devoted. That's how society and the media wires our women these days, and not just our women, but also our men, because that's what the men will go to look for. They don't look for the woman that's covered up, modest, wants to study the scriptures. They look for the one that wants to be out there in the club, has got the tightest shorts on, stuff like that.
I've seen sisters say, "Ain't no wifey." And you can sit right there. You can put a chair right there in the back. Or make it more close if you want.
Writing on the desk.
Okay.
But I'll make my way over here.
No, I'm tripping. I've seen people, they sell shirts, and these are popular shirts. They're popular. It says, "Ain't no wifey." People buy them, huh?
Isn't it a lot of time they're looking for? It's because they find an excuse, and there is something about it that's itching to their ears, and they're actually looking for that avenue or that way to find an excuse to do that.
You know why? Because the excuse is whores are glorified. Mm-hmm. You got Nicki Minaj. You got
Amber Rose.
What's the other one? All the Kardashians. pretty much.
Body
Cardi
Addy.
B,
Yeah, they give them more.
Body Addy, what's her name?
What's her name?
Brittany Renner.
Megan Thee
Megan
Stallion.
Thee Stallion.
Brittany
Because
Renner.
these women are glorified, and city girls. These women are glorified and they put on a pedestal. So these are put in front of the faces on the radio on constant rotation.
It's celebrated.
They're in the videos, constant rotation in the videos, constant rotation on the radio.
Ecclesiastes 13 and 16
Read that.
says, all flesh consorteth according to kind,
Yeah, that's true. Go ahead.
and man will cleave to his like.
Right, but what makes it attractive is the fact that it's stimulating because it's glorified. Yeah, and it looks like they get all the money, they got the cars, they got all the
Black China, the fame.
Yeah, they got the fame, they got the followers, they got the Instagram followers, they got millions of followers, millions of subscribers,
That's back
they
in
got millions of friends. They look like they're having the time of their life. But the scriptural answer to Daviad's question is 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 1. Read this. If a married woman is a tower against a death to her husband, like Daviad said, then why is a married woman listening to whores? Then let's find out.
1 Peter 3 and 1.
Yeah.
1 Peter chapter 3 verse 1. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
Why would a married woman listen to whores?
Because they want to be in authority.
She didn't want to be in subjection.
Because she didn't want to be what?
In subjection.
What happens to a married woman that starts to open her ears to whores? It starts to be curious about what it's like being single, what it's like being free, what it's like not having to answer to nobody, not having to be responsible for nobody, or have to cook for somebody or clean for somebody. Why would a married woman listen to a whore?
I ain't no
Freedom is
slave.
attractive.
Right. Why? Because he said, because likewise ye wives, go ahead.
Be in subjection to your own husband.
Because she's not into subjection with who? She's not in order with who?
Her own husband.
So what happens if she's not? But read on. There's a benefit to her being in submission to her husband, and there's a repercussion to her not being in submission to her husband. Read on.
That if any obey not the word.
Because when you're in submission to your husband, when a woman is in submission to her husband, that's the law of the Most High. But if she's not following the laws of the Most High, but she's married, read on.
They also may without the word be won by the conversation of their wives.
It says.
I couldn't hear the scripture. What did the scripture say?
God, from the top.
Yeah, no, just what it says.
Point you make.
Obey
also-
not the word. They also may be without the word, be won by the conversation of what?
Of the wives.
The wives. Now, there is a difference between a wife and a virgin, and we're gonna get that in a minute. These are just women that have influence over a married woman. The way that a married woman stays solid as that tower against death for her husband is that she stays in order with her husband. That's what keeps her being valuable in the eyes of the Most High. That's what makes her honorable. That's how she doesn't entertain outside influences. That's how she's able to shut off outside influences. Because when other women talk to women, it is enticing. Just like for men, when you hear men bragging and stunting,
I ran through that.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? You hear
I've been through
men,
that.
you hear about the success stories of men, it makes you envious, it makes you covetous, it makes you desirous.
Look at my phone, bro.
It makes you
See that?
regret. I've been winning.
I've been winning, bro. You tripping? I've been winning, bro.
Yeah, when you see people on Instagram and they showing off chains and they showing off watches and they showing off stacks of money and they telling you how they got it, it will play on a man. Look at what he doing, man. I must be doing something wrong. That's what we say to ourselves. But for a woman in particular, matter of fact, you're in 1 Peter, right?
Come.
Keep reading.
They also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wives.
Jump down to verse 4.
But let it be the hidden man of the heart.
Go ahead.
In that which is not corruptible.
It says when a woman is in subjection to her husband, she's not what?
Corruptible.
She's not corruptible. You can't tell her. You can't convince her to step outside of her marriage.
Wow.
You can't convince her that a non-married divorced life is better.
So all the women at the job can be in her ear, and it don't really matter to her.
It don't matter to her.
All her friends that she went to school with can be like, "Girl, listen, we living our life right now. We want to make it."
Yeah, we got divorced, so you don't have to. We going on trips. It's gonna be a hot girl summer.
You should come through.
Yeah. You should come through. Oh, I forgot you're married. Yeah, you can't have no fun. Well, we're gonna have fun for you. We're gonna have fun for you. We're gonna drink one for you and everything. Cause you that's right. We forgot. You stuck. But a woman that's locked into her husband, it says that she's what? She's uncorruptible. A woman that's in submission to her husband, that's following the laws, you can't get her to cheat. You can't get her to be single or divorce what she already has that the Most High gave her to go be single again.
Because of this too. Because a lot of those women later on, those women that were having those hot girl summers, having a good time, having fun, those are the same ones crying, sitting here jealous of what you have, jealous of your security, jealous of the household you built, jealous of your children, jealous of your stability.
And trying to creep up on your man.
Especially that. Well, listen, I hope she falls off, because I know her man's a good man.
Yeah. Planting seeds of division.
Or just leads you down that path, and after you've done it, later on in life, then they go get married, and they try to do it the right way.
Oh, bro, I was young, bro.
I was young, I was too.
I was young, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Read on.
Come. Even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit.
A woman that's in subjection to her husband, she has a meek and quiet spirit. What else?
Which is in the sight of the Most High of a great price.
And how does the Most High look at that woman that's uncorruptible by the persuasion of other women, who's meek and quiet and follows the direction of her husband?
Of great price.
Now let's go back to the whore in Ecclesiastes 26, verse 22. Read it one more time.
Ecclesiastes 26 and verse 22.
The Most High said this woman is of a great price. Read this right here, Ecclesiastes 26 and 22.
And harlot shall be accounted as spittle.
How much does that cost?
Free, man.
That spit ain't a good price. It don't take much. Nobody wants that.
Kind of want it.
Yeah, exactly. Read on.
Not to keep.
But a married woman is a tower against death to her husband.
Read on.
A wicked woman is given as portion to a wicked man.
But see, this is what men don't understand. The reason why I have a woman that's off is because what?
I'm off.
Because I'm off. See, men don't put two and two together. The reason why I don't have a strong woman that's locked in is because I'm not locked in. Men don't, for some reason, this one verse is like a mystery.
It's a mystery in the Bible. It's Revelation.
It's for some reason this verse right here confuses people. They don't. It either goes over their head, they don't understand it, or it don't make sense. But the whole purpose the Most High is saying is, you have what you have. You have the type of woman that you have because you're this type of man. Because you're this type of man, you have this type of woman. But a man will always look at, like Adam did, it's all Eve's fault. It's the woman you gave. Always her fault. But a man will never say, man, if I want a better type of woman, then let me be a better man. We expect the woman to change first.
Which is out of order.
That's out of order. The man is supposed to be the head of the household. She's supposed to be watching you.
God.
But men don't get this for some reason, that I got this type of woman because I'm this type of man. I don't know why that's hard to understand. But let's go back to, but read it one more time first. Yes, sir. Of course. Read it one more time, then ask a question.
Con. Ecclesiastes 26 and verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man.
So a wicked woman is given to a wicked man.
I gotta ask this question.
Yes, sir.
So I get there's women that are kind of a spit, and the married woman's kind of as a tower against death, right? So a woman that's married should know by common sense not to listen to unmarried women. But what about listening to women that are married but got a lot of bad habits in their marriage. Listen to some really bad advice from women that have negative practices in their marriage and that really defile that new married woman's conscience, or give her a bad example of what it is to be married. Like, you can step out here and there. It's okay as long as you just, keep the agreement going. Or as long as you don't know.
Yeah.
If you don't know, it's okay.
1 Thessalonians 5:21.
Because that exists too.
Yeah.
Some of them will. I'll stay married, but I'm gonna do me too. I'm gonna have the best of both worlds.
Yep. Go ahead.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. Prove all things.
So no matter what anybody tell you, what advice you getting, you should be doing what?
Prove all things.
What does the word prove mean?
Try.
To test, to put to trial, to test the quality of, to test the quality of. So he's showing. So if a woman is married and she's listening to the advice, what does it say?
To validate.
To validate, yeah. Another woman that is married could be giving me advice, but I still want to put that advice to what?
Test.
Put it to the test. So all wisdom is not wisdom. So just because somebody felt like they can give me some advice, because listen here, young buck, I've been married for 50 years. That don't mean it's been a good 50 years.
That's true.
Listen here, youngins. You just getting started. You got to serve your woman. Happy wife, happy life. You know that's
We get those guys too.
That shit.
If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. You got.
She's the boss.
She's the boss.
I wear the pants and she wears the pants too.
Yeah.
So both wear the pants.
So you know what? Because I've been doing this for a long time. That don't mean you've been producing the right spirit. That don't mean your relationship been blessed. You could be at the point where you're just in a domestic partnership again, like we read earlier. You could just be at the part where you just have an agreement waiting on the kids to get out the house so you could go your separate ways. Because a lot of times that happens too. People will stay together just for the sake, for the kids, just for the last child to get out.
Just for the kids.
As soon as that kid turned 18, yeah, I don't want to be here with you looking at you, and you don't want to look at me.
As I say, it's cheaper to keep her.
Yeah, it's cheaper to keep her. That's when all these dumb sayings come into play. It says, but do what? 1 Thessalonians 5:21 says what?
Prove all things.
You're supposed to prove all things. Read on.
Hold fast that which is good.
You only keep the information that's what?
Good.
That's good. You got to separate the good from the bad advice.
But what if I trust this person? What if this person, my sister, my brother, my uncle, my cousin, my dad, my mom, my friends, I grew up with, my school teacher? We look at these relationships and we quantify their advice as good advice because of the relationship we have with them.
You know, if it's a mother or father, as far as advice from a mother and father, then follow it. Because no man or woman is over their mother or father. Now most good parents will try to allow their children to avoid their mistakes. They'll tell them what not to do. A good parents will say, "This is what I did. This is what didn't work in my life. This is what worked. This is what you should do." A good parent will try to give good advice. A good parent will try to at least help you avoid the pitfalls and the stumbling blocks that was in their marriage, and the mistakes that they made, and the bad choices that they made. A good parent will try to relay that. Do not make these choices. But they don't just say, don't make these choices. They demonstrate good choices.
Yeah, so their marriage is the example of what to do.
Right.
Should be.
It should be.
If it's not, what if it's not?
You still got to follow. You still got to follow based upon what the Most High says. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3. If my parents are not in the Word, but yet their marriage they're together. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 24.
Start at verse Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 2. 1 and 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. Hear me, your father, O children, and do thereafter. that ye may be safe.
It says, if you want, it says, hear ye talking to the children. He says, your father, that ye may be safe. Read on.
For the Most High hath given the father honor over the children.
Who did the Most High put in charge over the children?
The father.
The Father. Yeah, he might not make the most sense, because a lot of times our fathers didn't have the Bible. Our fathers didn't have understanding. Our fathers didn't have this knowledge that we got right now that's accessible to us at this moment. Our fathers learned from their parents and mistakes of their grandparents. You know, a lot of times our parents just want to do the opposite of how they were raised. Our parents, if they got beat all the time, our parents say, you know what, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm not going to beat you like I got beat. So I'm just going to be your friend. That's bad advice too. That doesn't work either. So when you have parents that didn't have this knowledge, because they didn't have this knowledge that we have accessible to us right now. But you still got to listen to some of what they have. Some of what they have to offer is good. You just don't have to follow everything that they've done that didn't work. But you can listen to the wisdom from them. Because there's wisdom even in their errors, because their intention is good. Even when they don't have full understanding. Our parents didn't understand how serious marriage is in the eyes of the Most High. Our parents didn't understand the laws of the Most High. They didn't follow all the laws of the Most High. We didn't have that kind of... The Most High said in Colossians 1:26, what did he say in 1:26? Read that real quick. Colossians 1:26. Read it again right there, what you have in Ecclesiastes 3.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 2. For the Most High hath given the father honor over the children.
Go ahead.
And have confirmed the authority of the mother over the son.
So who's over who? Yeah, you know what? You do have to take some of what your parents have to offer. You do. Because the Most High put them in charge. Now, you just don't have to do what they do that doesn't work. Don't make the same mistakes they make. But if they're giving you good advice, you can listen to it. You can weigh it. You can put it to the test. Who got Colossians 1:26?
Colossians 1:26. Even the mystery which has been hid from ages and from generations.
Our parents' generation don't get this Bible like we got. This understanding wasn't available to them as it is to us right now. He says, even the mystery, a mystery is something that's hidden, something unknown. Read on.
But now is made manifest.
It says, when did this knowledge of what the Most High demands as far as His laws, when does this knowledge really start making a comeback, or it start coming out?
But now.
It's just now that we got this truth. You know what our parents had? They had tradition.
That's true.
What goes on in this house stays in this house. It don't matter what good. Blood is thicker than water. You know, that's about the most biblical verses they possess. Psalms 23. You know what I'm saying? John 3:16. And what goes on in this house stays in this house. And stay out of grown folk business. But those were those laws that they possessed, because they possessed tradition. You get your mouth popped. You say something out of line, you get slapped. You get hit across the head. That's what our parents, they put tradition into us. That was their way of putting the fear of God in us. But they didn't have this knowledge that we have. Why? Because it wasn't available to them. The Most High didn't choose them to have it. He said this mystery was hid from how long?
Hid from ages and from generations.
From ages and generations.
Hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years and different people's lifespans. The previous person's lifespan. That generation didn't have it. Yes, sir.
So is it safe to say, even in the respect to your parents, knowing that things were hidden from them, they don't have the knowledge even that the Most High is giving us right now, when we're listening to this advice, we still got to bounce it off the scriptures.
Right.
We still have to have that consciousness of, this may sound good. It sounds like good advice. Your intentions are great. And there's no maliciousness in here, but I still got to follow the scriptures. I still got to line it up with doing the right thing according to the Most High.
Right, because even Christ, at 12 years old, at the Passover, stayed back at the temple debating with the physicians and the doctors. Then his mother said, you worried us. Where were you? And he said, what?
Foolish woman.
You know what I mean about my father's business?
He said, what?
Foolish woman. No, you're not.
Would you much rather me not be about my father's business? What is he saying? But then she also put him on restriction. And she said, you're not to leave our side until we get back to where we're going. So after he said that, she still put him on punishment. She put him on restriction. You're going to stick to my side. I heard you. I heard what you said.
Let's bet, mama.
And she did hear what he said.
She didn't understand it.
But no, she took note of what he said. It stayed in her mind.
Yeah.
But she said, you're still on punishment now. You're not moving until you're going to stay right next to me till we go all the way back home, which was a 3 days journey. So did he say, woman, thou deterrest my mission? No. You know what I'm saying? No, he didn't. He still followed her back home. 3 days, a 3 days journey back home. So he said this knowledge was hidden for what?
It was hid from ages and from generations.
Read on.
But now is made manifest to his saints.
To who?
His saints.
And who's the saints? We the saints of the Most High. Now we ain't got to prove that, but let's go back to where we were in Ecclesiastes. Finish that up in verse 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 2. For the Most High have given the father honor over the children.
Read on.
And have confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons.
Yes, you still got parents, whether they mean well, but they don't know what you know. They don't have the knowledge that we have. They don't have the scriptures that we have. They don't have the understanding that he has. It was made for our generation that this understanding be given to us in the fashion that is given to us. You know, they could hear like 5 scriptures. They'd be like, man, you know the whole Bible. They'd be like, man, it's just 5 verses. But they'd be like, boy, you know that book. No, I don't know the book. I'm learning. But because it's more than what they know. Now, they may have read it, heard it before, but this generation, this knowledge is spreading. But the Most High still, because the Most High is not the author of confusion, you still got parents that give you good advice. You still listen to it. You just don't follow after the advice that don't work. You still test it by the scriptures.
Isn't it still be wearing of a counselor and what need he may have?
No, not so much that. Just
try the spirit by the spirit.
Just try the spirit by the spirit. I'm still testing what they're telling me to do, because what they're saying, they mean well. They may not understand, but they mean well.
Okay.
If you have decent parents that care about you. I'm talking about this for parents that care about you. Now back to where we was at in Mark chapter 10.
Mark chapter 10, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahushua answered and said unto them, for the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept.
And why did Christ say that Moses opened the door and made an amendment to the law for divorce?
For the hardness of your heart.
Because men's heart is hard. Because men don't understand the Most High gave me the kind of woman that reflects who?
Me.
That reflects me. If I want a better marriage, then I need to become a better man. But nobody wants to do that though.
That's real talk. You gotta say it twice. Yeah, encore that one. That was strong because we don't hear that. We don't hear that often. If I want better results in anything in my life, I have to become better to get good results.
You know what? It's almost like I'm the victim. If otherwise I was the good guy, I didn't deserve that. No, you deserved everything that you got because the Most High played the matchmaker. He gave you the perfect person by design. If you got a phony woman, because you're a phony man. if you got a hard-pressed, diligent, hard-working woman that's loyal, because you're hard-pressed, diligent, and loyal. The Most High don't make no mistakes. But we can complain about the woman all day, but we hardly ever look at ourselves and say, man, I wonder why the Most High gave me a demon. Because I'm the demon. That's why I got a demon. Because you know what? I didn't want to better myself. So the Most High just showed me in the female version, in the female form. I got the female version of me. Stubborn, hard-headed, violent, emotional, extreme, hostile, selfish, insecure, sneaky. I got the same thing, but in the female version. And that's how the Most High fix a man. He gonna fix you right. He got the right one for you. So read on.
Verse 6. But from the beginning of the creation, the Most High made them.
He says from the beginning of creation. Read on.
The Most High made them male and female.
He made them what?
Male and female.
Read on.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother.
Which we read that already in Genesis. Go ahead.
And cleave to his wife.
And go ahead. And what's supposed to happen when this man and woman hook up?
And they twain shall be one flesh.
And they two, twain means two, shall be what?
One flesh.
Go ahead.
So then they are no more twain, but one flesh.
Go ahead.
What therefore the Most High have joined together, let not man put asunder.
It says, so what Christ is doing is correcting the Sadducees about or the Pharisees about their perspective of marriage. They want to focus on the fact that Moses allowed a divorce. And they want to hear his interpretation of why Moses allowed a divorce. But what Christ is showing them is a divorce was never mentioned. A marriage was supposed to be for life. It was only because men didn't understand that the Most High gave them the exact version of themselves in a female form, and they didn't like what they saw, that they wanted to get rid of the woman. And they said, because of the hardness of men's heart. Because I'm going to come down on every little thing. But I didn't realize I'm the same person to the Most High. I'm the exact same person to the Most High. That's why it says a wicked woman is given to a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is what?
Is given to him that feareth the Lord.
Is given to him that what?
Feareth the Lord.
So if I want a better woman, then I got to be a better what?
Servant.
I got to be a better man. Just to keep it simple.
Yeah.
So my marriage is based upon my relationship with the Father. If I have a strong tie and strong relationship with the Father, the Most High will help me get a strong relationship and strong tie with a woman. Yes, sir.
Also, he's showing you how he feels about you.
Right. Exactly. But we don't want to see that though.
Huh?
But that's why Christ has to recorrect these Pharisees, because they don't understand what a marriage is. The divorce is not the focus. The marriage is the focus. The unity, the lifelong partnership is the focus, not the divorce. That's not the focus. Here's why I said originally, it was never meant. You shouldn't be focused on the divorce. Focus on what it takes to stay unified and to deliver the pleasure of the Most High. Now, you don't have to be married. You don't have to be married. Go to 1 Corinthians 7:35.
Oh, 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 5.
35.
Oh, 35. All right. Yeah.
Start at verse 34. Just for the sake of clarity right now.
7 and 35.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 34.
Mm-hmm.
34.
There's a difference also between a wife and a virgin.
He said there's a difference between a what?
A wife and a virgin.
Both are women, but there is a difference. Go ahead.
The unmarried woman cared for things of the Lord.
It says, so the virgin would be the unmarried woman. And it says, there's a difference also between a wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman cared for the things of what?
Of the Lord.
So if she's single, she don't have to be married. She don't have to be married. But if a woman is single, where should her mind be?
On the Lord.
It should be on the Lord. That's where her mind should be. She shouldn't be worried about who's doing what and who's in what relationship and who has a power couple going on and who's happily married. A single woman, a woman that's of a maritable age, which is the virgin, her mind should be on the fact that what do I need to do to please the Most High? That's where her mind should be. So in essence, she's married to Christ. In essence, she's married to the Most High. Read on.
That she may be holy both in body and in spirit.
So that the Most High can look at her as being holy where?
Both in body and in spirit.
Both in body and spirit. So she keeps her body pure and she keeps her spirit pure. She keeps her mind clean. So that should be the focus if I'm a single woman. Read on.
But she that is married care for things of the world, how she may please her husband.
Now there's only one problem to being a woman being married. She can't just serve the Lord, she also has to serve who?
Her husband.
She got to serve. She has an obligation to her husband. That's not a bad thing, but he's trying to show you the difference. The difference is where your mind is. That's what he's trying to show you. Where is your focus? If you are married, you have an obligation to your husband, and the Most High is honoring that obligation based on how well you are in subjection to that husband. So you do have a duty. You have an additional duty of responsibility. But if you're single, your duty is not to necessarily please a man, it's to please the Most High in Christ. Her mind is on the church. Right? Read on.
Verse 35. And this I speak for your own profit.
Go ahead. He said, this I speak for your what?
Your own profit.
What he's trying to show you is that it's nothing wrong with being single. But being married is not a bad thing either. They both have their pros and cons. There's good to being single, there's good to being married. They both have their pros and cons. Read on.
Not that I may cast a snare upon you.
He says, not that I'm trying to confuse you, like to say that being single is better than being married, or being married is better than being single. Paul is saying, I'm not trying to confuse you. Both have their pros and cons. You have to weigh out the difference. It's your job to weigh out what you want in your life. You could be single, and that's fine. And if you want to be single, just put your mind on the Most High Christ. But if you're married, put your mind on your husband. That's the only downside. You got to serve your husband and still serve the Most High Christ. He said, I'm not trying to cast a snare on you, not trying to confuse you. Marriage is a good thing. But being single is good too. Read on.
But that which is comely.
Comely, attractive. Go ahead.
And that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction.
He's saying that I'm telling you this so that if you are single, there's nothing wrong with being single. Because being single allows you to put your mind on the Most High without what?
Distraction.
Without distraction. That's the pros. That's the bonus. That's the onus. That's the privilege of being single. You only have to put your mind on the Most High. That's a positive. That's a plus. You don't have a man to answer to. That's because you can serve the Lord undistracted. But there's nothing wrong with that. So you don't have to be married. You don't have to be. Read on.
Verse 36. But if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely.
And there's nothing wrong for a man to be single. But if you're dealing with a woman, you touching, you sniffing, you playing with, you tinkering with, you exploring, and you're doing things you're doing things. Because you know people do things. People do a lot of things behind closed doors. But if you're doing these things that a married person is doing, then you need to reclassify what it is, man. You need to relook at what you're doing. Because there is no like this. We're just cool. We're just chilling. But read it again, verse 36.
Verse 36. But if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely toward his virgin.
Go ahead.
If she pass the flower of her age.
And she's of a marriageable age. Go ahead.
And need so require.
And you already doing these things. You already doing these things that damn couples would do. You're already involving yourself in ways that married people involve themselves. You're exposing your nakedness to each other. Read on.
Let him do what he will.
What that means is, let that man do what he's supposed to do. Let that man step up. You know what? Then you might as well, if you're doing the deeds that married people do, then why don't you just finish it up and make it known? Don't try to keep things discreet. If you're already doing these things that the Most High is saying, He's already looking at you like a couple. You're already touching and grabbing, and you're already doing things with each other that married people do. He says, then let that man do what he will. What he's saying is, let that man step up into that position of a husband. There's no need to play like you're single if you playing with each other already. Read on.
Con. He sinneth not.
He said, yeah, then let that man step up and do what? Go ahead.
Let them marry.
And what will be honorable then if they're already starting to engage in certain things, certain actions? What will be honorable in the eyes of the Most High?
Marry.
Let them be married. Then let them marry then. Then you might as well get married then. You already going this route. Then you know what? Then make it official. Don't just hit it and quit it. I'm just trying to have some fun. And no, you know what? You know what? That's not how the Most High is looking at it. He's not looking at we're just dating. Man, you know what? You need to just go ahead and marry them. Don't play with the term. Only in our society, we like to manipulate the terms. The Most High, he's not being manipulated. He knows what it is. He sees what it is. You might as well make it official. Read on.
Verse 37. Nevertheless, he that standeth steadfast in his heart.
But if you're strong enough within yourself, if you have the utmost discipline and self-control and self-restraint, where you don't let your flesh get the best of you, and you're not led by your lust. Read on.
Having no necessity.
Having no what?
Necessity.
Man, because you know what we say? I got needs. I got needs. You know what she say? I got needs. Everybody say they got needs. But you know what? If a man is strong enough and he's solid enough to go without these particular needs, to where he has self-control and he has self-restraint and he can do without a woman. Read on.
But hath power over his own will.
And he has power over what?
His own will.
I don't get caught slipping. Oh man, I did it again. Because you know brothers tell us that. Oh man, I got weak. What does it mean I got weak? Oh man, I got caught slipping. I made a mistake. No, you didn't have no power over yourself. You didn't have no self-control. You didn't have no self-restraint. You didn't have no discipline. Oh man, I got drunk. Blame it on alcohol, right? Oh man, I got drunk. One thing led to another. We were drinking.
You know how the alcohol.
You know how that goes. No, that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
That's not how it goes. That's not how the Most High is looking at it. Either you're gonna step up and just marry because you're already doing certain things anyway, or you might as well. If not, then you might as well leave it alone and exhibit some self-control and self-restraint and power over your will. None of that. Oh man, I did it again. You ain't gonna know, man. You ain't gonna believe what happened.
This, bro.
You ain't gonna believe this, man.
Crazy morning.
See, what had happened was, no, man. Yeah, there's no need for no explanation. You don't have power over your will. If that's the case, then go get you a woman. And if you got a woman, then maintain her. Make it honorable. Make it worthy of respect. Make it respectable. Don't play. Don't play games. Make it respectable. Read on.
And hath so decreed in his heart that he will keep his virgin. Doeth well.
It says, and have so declared in his heart to keep his what?
His virginity?
To keep his virgin. Give me the second definition of virgin. It says to keep his virgin, right?
And is it 28?
Yeah. Let me get it real quick. Well, we have 1 Corinthians 7. Let me look at it in 37, right?
This is no knowledge of man.
Yeah, hold on, 30. It's the second definition. Read this, W. Second definition of virgin.
Second definition of virgin. Strong's G3933. A man who has abstained from all uncleanness and whoredom, attended on idolatry,
which is self-pleasure. Go ahead.
And so has kept his chastity.
And so kept his what?
His chastity.
So, Read it one more time from the 37, and we're going to insert this definition. Read that one more time, and somebody give me the definition of chastity. Chastity.
Chastity.
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 7 verse 37.
Somebody else get the definition of chastity. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, he that standeth steadfast in his heart.
So if a man says, you know what, I'd rather not deal with a woman because I'm going to dedicate my mind to the Most High. Because some men can do this. But some men are liars. Some men will say, I'm just going to focus on growth. I'm just going to focus on development. I'm just going to focus on my rank or my duties, my responsibilities with the Most High. I'm going to focus on the church. I'm going to focus on the camp. I'm going to focus on the body. Some men say this, but at night, what do? When behind closed doors, what are they doing?
Calling her up.
Right. They're doing opposite of what they say they do. Some men come across and will say, yeah, I'm just going to focus on the Most High. That's all I'm doing. I'm just focusing on the Most High. But that's not all they're doing. That's why if that's what you're going to do, then do so. There's nothing wrong with focusing on the Most High, but don't be lying. Either if you're not going to focus on the Most High and dedicate and be solid and using self-control, self-discipline, and you're gonna put restraints on yourself, and I'm not going to say, man, I just got weak. Then if that's the case, go get a woman. Read on.
God, having no necessity, but hath power over his own will, and hath so decreed in his heart that he will keep his virgin.
He will keep his what?
His virgin.
Read that right there.
A man who has abstained from all uncleanness and whoredom, attended on idolatry.
Go ahead.
And so has kept his chastity.
And definition of chastity.
Got it. Chastity. Purity of the body.
Purity of the what?
Body.
So it's okay if a man wants to keep his body pure and to keep his mind pure and uncontaminated or undistracted is the word that Paul used. Without distraction. If you want to focus on your growth, then you got to use self-control. If you're gonna focus on your development, then you have to use some discipline. You can't say I'm gonna focus on my growth and I'm gonna study and I'm gonna pray and I'm gonna do these things for the Most High, but at night I'm still entertaining my flesh. If you're gonna entertain your flesh, then go get a woman. But don't play the middle. Read on.
Abstinence. Go ahead.
What you got?
Abstination from unlawful sexual intercourse.
Yeah, because
abstinence.
It's abstinence. What makes it unlawful? Because I have no means of making this my wife or for a woman, no means of making this my husband. I have no means of making any kind of commitment whatsoever. It was just about sexual pleasure. So what's that definition of chastity one more time?
Chastity in the 1828. Purity of the body, freedom from all unlawful commerce of sexes, before marriage, purity from all commerce of sexes, after marriage, fidelity to the marriage bed.
And fidelity to if I am married, I'm loyal to the marriage bed. So this is about self-control. So you don't have to be married in the eyes of the Most High. But if you're not, then you better use some self-control.
And this fidelity to the marriage bed means that if I am going to be married, I'm going to give my body my marriage.
Yeah.
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep giving my body. I'm not going to give my body for a couple of years and then after that, fade out in the back.
All right.
There's a lot of that's in the atmosphere too online. It's a major thing. It's almost like an epidemic going on.
Right.
It's an epidemic.
So
that's the real pandemic.
It is. That's the pandemic right there.
So that's the pandemic. That's
for real, man.
That's the real COVID.
That's killing people every day.
That's the real COVID.
Verse 37. Finish that in verse 37.
God, and hath so decreed in his heart that he would keep his virgin, doeth well.
He said, had decreed in his heart that he gonna keep his virgin, do it what?
Doeth well.
Do it well. Read on.
Verse 38.
Hold on. You're 1 Corinthians, right?
Yeah.
Go up to verse 1.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm. Now,
concerning the things whereof he wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
So does the Most High have a problem with a person being single?
No.
Does the Most High have a problem with a person being married?
Oh.
No, he said if both are good, as long as you're able to put your focus in the right place, and you don't detract anything from the Most High. You give the Most High His due. It's nothing wrong with being single. It's nothing wrong with being married, but don't play on either side. If you're married, then be loyal. If you're not married, then use discipline. Don't play the field as if I'm not. I'm gonna tell everybody I'm focusing on the Most High, but I'm actually doing something else. Read on. Read up verse 1 again.
1 Corinthians 7 and verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man to touch a woman.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless.
It said, yeah, Paul, if you ask Paul said, listen, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you don't get married. But that's just Paul's advice.
That's just his advice.
That's
Paul's
advice.
Isaac.
Paul is that kind of guy.
Don't do it.
That's strong, yeah.
Paul's that kind of guy that can go without.
Chasing the mind.
Give me one verse too. Give me this verse too. Cause no, I'll get it in a minute. Keep reading.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife.
So I don't get weak, and I don't start dabbling around with physical, sexual pleasure, and I don't start getting vulnerable to, my flesh. If I'm not strong enough to contain myself as being single, then let me go find somebody that's honorable, that's respectable, that's like-minded, that fears the Most High. Read.
Yeah. And let every woman have her own husband.
Read on.
Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto her husband.
Go ahead.
The wife hath not power over her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife.
What does that mean? They owe each other. They owe each other due benevolence. Benevolence is to treat each other good, to treat each other with respect. Each one deserves respect. I respect you and you respect me. Read on.
Defraud ye not one the other, except it be the consent for a time.
And if you're going to hold out physically, and as far as nuptially, as far as what commemorates a marriage is that continual sexual intercourse, that consummation. If you're going to hold out from consummating, he says, then let it just be for a time. Don't just say, I'm going to be married to you, but I'm going to sleep in this room and you sleep in that room. And it's just going to be that way. Because you know how many people that we deal with that are married and do not sleep in the same bed together? We see a lot of people like that on a regular basis. They're married and they're in two different parts of the house. The man is somewhere in some man cave, some garage, some attic, or some room he built in the backyard, or some workshop, and the woman somewhere in the kitchen. And you would think that they're not even married. I've met people that they go on separate vacations.
It's crazy.
Woman go on vacation by herself and a man go on vacation by himself. It don't make no sense. Something's missing. Read on.
That ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer.
The only time you should keep each other from consummation is when you're giving yourself to fasting and prayer. Go ahead.
And come together again.
Read on.
That Satan tempt you not.
Because if you hold out on each other, you're used to having this partner. You're used to having this companionship. You're used to having this consummation. So you're used to having these needs filled. So your flesh is going to get the best of you. Read on.
That Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. But I speak this by permission, and not of commandment. For I would that all men were even as myself.
Paul said, I wish that every man was what?
Like me.
Paul,
even as myself.
Paul was unmarried. So Paul's saying, I wish that all men could be unmarried. But Paul knows that that's not realistic. That's just something that he chose to do. That's a lifestyle he chose to live. So he can fully give himself to the Most High without distraction. But that life is not for everybody. Some people need a relationship. They need a marriage. They enjoy a marriage. They enjoy a relationship. Read on.
But every man hath his proper gift of the Most High.
Go ahead. That's why I said I'm not against it. Go ahead.
One after this manner, and another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn.
So it's better to marry than to be burning. That burning is I'm burning in my flesh. I'm losing my my chastity. I'm losing my purity of mind and body. I'm starting to explore and think about and contemplate and act upon my lust. Then it's better that I just go ahead and marry. So it's not a bad thing. I think that this is enough. Unfortunately, it's going to have to be a second part because it's too much to continue. But I think it's enough right now. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Just a comment that, and in the city, there's too many distractions and too many influences for you to live a life, single.
Right. It's very difficult to remain single in this day and age. A lot of people, are talking about hooking up. There's so many dating websites, so many like app sites that make it easy.
There's 100 divorce, and there's an app right in your hand.
Yep. Then you got the physical hub, the porneia hub that people go to. I mean, there's alternatives to marriage.
Yeah.
Even Hebrew dating, right?
Right.
We don't go into that.
Yeah,
they have a Christian dating site.
That's what I'm saying. But you got
to make it right.
Try to make it right. Yeah, but
try to make it right.
Listen, I'm not against people hooking up however means they do it, but just make the marriage honorable. Just make it honorable. If you're gonna be married, make it honorable, make it respectable. But if you're gonna be single, then keep your chastity. All right.
Those are some real games. That's some real decisions right there.
All right, Imagine. Before we walk down, rise and face the east. We're gonna just face the east. Send up a quick prayer, man.
He said to put an alarm on your chastity. So don't get.
We're gonna go ahead and say. We're gonna say in Hebrew the Lord's Prayer. Somebody go ahead and read it in English, and then we'll follow it up in Hebrew.
Matthew 7.
6.
Or 6. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Amen. Now we're going to say that in Hebrew because in the prologue of Ecclesiasticus it tells us that any word taken out of Hebrew and translated into another tongue loses its impact. So we want our words to be heard by the Heavenly Father in the most impactful way possible. So we're going to go ahead and say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. If you don't know it, just follow along. Yahweh Shemel Shai. Abanawa. Bashamayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakwithka. Taba'ah. Batazai. Hayah. Aisha. Ratazah. Hayah. Bashamayim. Athananawa. Ko. Yawam. Wasalachana. Kawathna. Kasalachana. Kawathina. Wala'ah. Tabianawa. One. Abo. Hawashana. Bayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Amalakwa. Wa'ala. I will love you. Amen. All right. Now we're going to ask the Most High in the name of Christ to bless and all the schools in the house of books that teach this wisdom and all the four corners scattered throughout the earth.
Yahweh, Bashum, Yahshai, Bakanau, Bashallah, Rabbiah, support, Yahweh, Bashum, Yahshai, Bakanau, Bashallah, Rabbiah, support, Yahweh, Bashum, Yahshai, Bakanau, Bashallah, Rabbiah, support, Yahweh, Bashum, Yahshai, Bakanau, Bashallah, Rabbiah, support.
Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahushua. That means bless you, Father. Bless you, Christ. We ask you, Father. Bestow upon us. Mercy. Joy. Peace. Love.
love,
fortitude, grace, long-suffering, patience, reverence, piety. For your name's sake, we humbly beseech you to cover us with your holy angels. Guide us, protect us, strengthen us from all disease, man-made, abominations, illnesses, diseases, ailments, in our lives, in our families' lives, in our brothers' lives, in our sisters' lives, in our children's lives, in our babies' lives, even our neighbors' lives, and even our enemies' lives. We ask you, Father, show yourself unto us, guide us, hover over us, watch over us, with peace, and not with anger. In Yahweh name we pray. The water, Aman. Men circle up. And the scripture says, salute one another with a holy kiss. We're not going to kiss each other, but we will salute each other.